Hey everybody, what's good? My name is Avram Gonzales. Welcome to InspirACTION, where I do something brand new every single day that I have never done before. Today's episode's a little bit different than the past few that I've put together because instead of there being like 8 to 12 new things that I've never done before, today's episode actually only includes one. The thing that I did in this episode that I've never done before was pitch my business to an actual panel of investors. So that was really cool, not to mention extremely nerve-wracking, but in the end I crushed the presentation and that's what I can't wait to share with you today. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about the course, what went into it. It's going to make more sense when you see the presentation. You might be like, man, he was rushed or he didn't get through everything. And there's a couple reasons for that. The class only lasted 10 weeks long. The pitch itself was put together for my entrepreneurship class. The teacher, one of the things he wanted us to do was actually experience a pitch deck where we pitched to actual investors and panelists. So he brought in 9 of his buddies to come in there and critique and give comments to our presentations. And not gonna lie, the first night of presentations, some kids got slaughtered. They got absolutely shredded by the investor panels. And that's one of the reasons that you won't see any financials in my presentation, because honestly, although I've put together revenue with Corey in this project, I don't really have that much confidence in projecting future cash flows. And so some of the groups that went the first day showed their financials and the investors ripped it apart because they said, it's obvious you don't know what you're talking about. And we only know as much as you're going to tell us. And so when you put something up there that obviously doesn't show your credibility, it takes away from the rest of the presentation. Also, class only lasted 10 weeks, and so it was a bit of a scramble putting things together in the end. I think myself and the rest of my classmates did an excellent job, and so that's another reason that I can't wait to show you my presentation. And I think that might have been about it. Oh, yeah, 2 more things. The pitch deck had to be within 20 minutes. 10 minutes of presentation, 10 minutes of Q&A. And so it was a lot to fit into 10 minutes, and I think I missed a few little things there at the end. Also, I was required to ask investors for money, which is something that I don't want to do, that Corey and I aren't really interested in doing, because if we ask for investor capital, that means we have people telling us what to do. Also, our business doesn't require any investment capital to really get going. Yes, it would scale our business up, and yes, it would help us advertise more, among a couple other things, but really, we've been able to do it so far. And one of the things that investors told me after my presentation was that I should just keep on trucking. That I shouldn't take their money because they don't want to, that I shouldn't take their money because honestly, I don't want people like them looking over my shoulder. And those are the words from the investor's mouth. So, without further ado, I give you my presentation pitch deck for building a brand online. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome everybody, appreciate you coming tonight. My name is Avram Gonzales, the CMO and co-founder of Building a Brand Online. So what is building a brand online? Well, it's a website where you can learn everything you need to know about internet marketing, search engine optimization, social media marketing, WordPress training. That's the platform that you can put blogs on, for those of you who didn't know, and video blogging. The list goes on, but my website is a resource for anybody to find anything related to this. It's also generated by guest bloggers and people that are of influence within the industry. So that's not actually where the action is. Buildingabrandonline.com is, like I said, merely a website where people can come and get that information that they need for free. Like I said, it's provided by guest bloggers and other people that we know within the industry that are absolutely crushing it. So the business then centers around the following thought, and that is that people need a social media presence. Just being online is not enough. You know, people say start a Facebook page, do this and do that. It doesn't do anything for you if you don't know how to use any of this stuff. So you can either pay somebody to do it for you. A lot of times it's going to be a lot of money. I've even heard people quote $10,000 to put together a blog, which is obscene because I can do it for free. You can also learn to do it yourself, which is what I essentially done, and that's where I come in. So target market is fairly important for this product, and I've narrowed it down through a lot of experimentation and just being out there in the trenches doing it myself. Seems to be the case. Now I've already done my first product, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. Everybody that bought my product, the first dozen customers, all of them were small business owners. All but 2 were over 40. All but 2 were women, And all of them had very basic internet knowledge. Some of them didn't even know what a browser is. So that just gives you an idea of what most people are looking at. Also, most people that are on Facebook and that are doing things that I'm doing, we're the experts. Not everybody is the expert. And so we recognize that, and that's why our current product offering is geared towards the masses and towards everybody else that's going to be able to take advantage of some of the really basic stuff, some of the things that they just need to get started and get their feet wet. So before I tell you about the product, I think it's important and critical that I tell you the story of myself and my co-partner, who I'm going to introduce in a second, and where we came from, why we have such expertise, and why we're headed in the direction that we're going. So some of my classmates already know, my name is Avram Gonzales, and I do a daily video blog called InspirACTION, where I do something brand new every single day that I have never done before. And I started that project back in January. I dove in head first. I'm over 250 videos deep, and I've amassed quite a following online just doing my thing. I've learned quite a few different tactics along the way, met a lot of people, but learned social media from the ground up, from not knowing anything. I originally got online and I was like, wow, there's people out there that are outside my regular friendships, and they know a lot about this stuff. So I connected with many of them, learned a lot, and one of those people was Corey Shanes, my partner. I don't have a nice picture of him, but let me just tell you about Corey. Corey was somebody that I met early on when I was getting started online, and I mean like earlier this year, February or March. And every time that I had a problem with my blog and a problem with trying to figure this out, or what's the best marketing strategy for this video, what's going to be the best way that I can get traffic to my website, Corey always had the answer. Corey was like the magician working on the back end, fixing all my problems. Nobody knew that. So all along I was crushing it. People thought I was doing everything. I really wasn't. But I was out there, my videos were completely viral, people were checking me out and coming to see what I had to offer. They started asking questions. And that's when Corey and I realized that we were leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm getting questions every day about how do you do this, how do you do video editing on this, and I'm answering all those questions, and they're coming back for more. I could be charging money for that. And so that's when Corey and I developed WordPress for Business, which is a coaching program that takes you from start to finish. I'm saying start to finish, from scratch. Like, you don't even know what your concept is going to be. You may not even know about keyword research to start your blog or your domain or your web empire, but I'm going to tell you how to do that. And I'm going to take you all the way to the end, teach you how to use WordPress, the platform that your blog is constructed on, and cash revenue for that, and in whatever way that may be. So you might just be building your brand online. You might be actually using it for your home business. Some people are into network marketing. They can also use that to their advantage. So with WordPress for Business, a company that we started, or rather a product that we created over this summer, I ended up netting with over a dozen students. This is our first info product ever. We netted $6K revenue. We sold it for $500 a piece. It was a 12-week training program, coached live every Sunday. You could tune in from your computers. You could ask me and Corey questions when we were going through the training. So it was 24 hours total training, and we brought everybody from start to finish in 12 weeks. And that just finished up about 3 weeks ago. So we recorded all that training. It's up on our website. People are able to access that with the passwords that we give them when they have bought our product. And so we'll be able to package that up later, use it to sell it in future bonus offers, whatever it may be, because we're already on to the next thing. What we learned from that was that the first product was a little bit too advanced. We took people from start to finish, and the people that were really interested in it, they were basic users. And so by the time that we got to the end, we were covering material that they just weren't comfortable with, and they weren't even really ready to use. A lot of people didn't do their homework. Seems to be the case in any kind of training program you do. About 10% of people actually hear it and use it. We learned that too. The price point was a little bit high. We sold it like crazy when it was at $300. When we put up to $500, we got about half the number of sales we were able to generate before. Might have been a little bit too steep for people, or we weren't able to communicate the value enough. I'm not quite sure. So we found that it was easier to chunk it down to basics. So if we took parts of the course, I think the first 3 weeks would have been really valuable for this customer. The last 6 weeks would have been really valuable for this customer. And that's why we created our new product. That's Facebook groups for business. So I don't know if any of you heard the announcement back in October, but it's October 6th, Mark Zuckerberg released a huge announcement for Facebook, and that was the new Facebook groups, which in short was a way for me to gather new leads without a list and make insane connections to people that weren't normally possible before. It's the ultimate referral group, let me just say that. So we jumped on that. We have a first mover advantage with this product, and so Corey and I spent a lot of time and a lot of late nights developing this product, and we're already selling it. So before our presentation on Tuesday, I was in a webinar, and we managed to sell almost 10 coachings at $100 a piece, and that was at the webinar with 65 people in it. So it was a fairly good conversion. We've had better conversions before, but that's typically a good strategy for us is doing the marketing around a webinar, getting a lot of awareness around it. What we've been doing with Facebook groups is throwing a lot of free webinars, about one every single week, inviting people to come. We'll invite guests to do a little bit of, we invite guests to tell us about their experience with Facebook groups, and that tends to bring in other audiences into the webinars. So that's also been extremely effective. So right here is the general overall strategy that we would like to take with Facebook groups for business. Like I mentioned before, we wanted to make a product that appealed to the most basic social media user, and this is one of those products. So we call it bottom of the pyramid marketing. The most number of people reached with a low price point. We sell a bunch of units. We're going to be doing extremely well versus, let's say, the WordPress for Business product. We were only able to sell so many of those. We're also going to use an affiliate marketing program, like Xander mentioned, except I have the secret weapon, and that is Corey Shane's. We already have a very extensive affiliate program connected to our products right now, which we can go into more depth with your questions later. There are some insane advantages tied to our affiliate marketing program, but we basically want an army of people pitching this product for us. Everybody that signs up for the product can become an affiliate. The point isn't for them to make money, but it sure as heck is going to help them when they're able to help one of their friends learn more, and they can put a little bit of that money in their pocket. I also mentioned webinar marketing being a major driver to our sales. It's good for our brand exposure. If anything, if people haven't heard of us before, they have a final touch point before they end up buying our product. And finally, search engine and Facebook marketing. I like to focus more on the Facebook marketing because search engine marketing and the things going on Google right now are a little bit more expensive than I'm looking for right now. And I know that on Facebook, I have some interesting tactics that allow me to gain greater connection with my audience online. It won't just be an ad that pops up on the side that you're just going to kind of look at and be like, I don't really care about that, because I have ways that you will know that your friends bought from me through that affiliate link. We can answer those and some other questions later. I have a couple big gaping holes with this business. One of them is our IP protection and copyright. It's all intellectual knowledge. I gained all this knowledge for free on the internet by getting in the trenches and doing it myself. It's a little hard to copyright and protect our program, so I could use a little bit of help with that. Also, our graphic design isn't totally up to snuff. We have logos for our website. We can take a look at some of those too, but it's not where it needs to be to become an attractive brand, especially if people don't already know me before they buy the product. Also want to outsource some of the website work and maintenance. Although Corey is superhuman in some ways, he can't possibly keep up with all the website stuff we're planning on doing in the future. His time would be better suited working with me, doing product creation and masterminding marketing schemes. So also, I learned quite a bit about video work myself. It takes a lot of time. I don't want to do it. Obviously, I have my camera here. I do that for a living, and I would rather build my products for everybody to buy. So if I could have somebody taking care of that for me, I'll do all the shooting and stuff. That's not where, me and Corey are the value creators, so we don't need to be spending our time doing all that stuff. Really wrapping it up, I want $100,000. I think even though I funded this all by myself and with the help of Corey, all of our hard-earned dollars, we've reinvested everything in the company that's come in. All of our own commissions have gone back into the company. Like I mentioned, the big gaping holes, there are some of these things that we aren't equipped to handle right now as far as using our money in our own funding. So I know that with $100,000, maybe even just $50,000, I know that my marketing and advertising can go much, much further than what we've already got. Because we know how to do it, we just need to be able to apply all that into our full-on marketing strategy. So with that, I'd like to open up to any questions. And I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I had a phenomenal time delivering it. I actually blacked out within like 2 or 3 minutes into the presentation. I couldn't even remember what I was talking about. I was enjoying myself so much. Sorry that I clipped the comments off the end. Obviously, YouTube only allows you to upload videos that are so long, and so those comments are for me to keep. But I hope you appreciated the presentation. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.